All right, happy Tuesday night, everybody. Welcome on into the Hat Creek Interior Studios. You don't have to own a ranch to live like you do. You can have great Western furniture right in your own house, whether you're in West Texas or anywhere around the Lone Star State or beyond. They ship anywhere. Check out their website, hatcreek.us. Check out their showroom in Lubbock. They're on South Slide Road, 10101 South Slide Road. Yeah, about 100 and, I don't know, 98th Street, a little bit past you, south. You get the idea. We are glad to be in the Hat Creek Interior Studios tonight. We got stuff to do tonight. It's Tuesday. Tuesday's best. The sports stories you'd most want to see, the 30 for 30. The real story. What do you really want to know about? What stories? You tell us tonight on that. Texas Tech fans, give us 3 reasons to hate Houston. It's Tech in Houston this week. 3 reasons to hate Houston. And finally, build the Bruce Bochy statue now. However, we ask the question for Rangers fans, more important to the Ranger franchise, Nolan Ryan or Bruce Bochy? You tell me tonight. Jump in on the United Supermarkets chat line. United Supermarkets getting you ready. It's a road game. So in West Texas, that means you tailgate at home. You have your home parties. You get ready to go this weekend at United Supermarkets in Market Street. Also brought to you by Getter's Bayou, 98th and Slide Road. Hot Cajun food, cold drinks, great patio. Drop by, tell them we said hello. And South Lanes College, the road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. A lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. They have over 100 degree plans that you can be a part of at South Lanes College. Check out their website. And then, like we always say, the power of five. If 5 people a night jump on our great sponsors, Facebook pages, social media feeds, and tell them thanks for supporting Raiderland, we're golden. So that's United Supermarkets tonight, Hat Creek Interiors on Facebook. Same thing, Gators Bayou on Facebook, easy to find. And South Plains College, tell them thanks. All right, let's get it going, shall we? Texas Tech fans should hate Houston because Tuesday's best. The 2 sports stories that you would just love to have the real story about in the 30 for 30 format, whether it's individuals or teams or anything. The ones that what do you want to hear about? And then for Ranger fans, Bruce Bochy in Texas decide it's time to part ways. I agree. We wrote about it last week. Thank you, Bruce Bochy. Build the statue, build it now. Got the World Series when it was time. It needed to be, there needed to be a change. There needs to be a lot of changes, I think, in the mindset of the Rangers organization. And a lot of it has to do with the freaking stadium they play at right now, where you have this massive discrepancy between home and road ERA, the biggest in the majors, almost a run and a half different. What are you going to do? Are you going to build to the park and go small ball, or are you going to rail against the reality and try to hit home runs and try to score a bunch of runs at home when it doesn't matter? What are you going to do? You tell me. Jump in on the United Supermarkets chat line tonight. Anything and everything on your mind, Texas Tech football related, whatever's on your mind tonight, we want to hear from you on the United Supermarkets chat line. Alan, I hate Houston because it's not even Texas. Don't need 2 other reasons. In fact, if Sam Houston were alive today, he would demand that they change the name of the city of Houston to Marabou Lamar. 100%. He would demand that they change the name of Houston to Lamar. If you know your history, you know I'm right. Jeff is on our YouTube channel. By the way, you get it on YouTube. Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. YouTube people, grow this thing to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the week. That's a lot of people. You can do it. Share it, all that good stuff. On Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Free. Everything's free in Raiderland. So subscribe to all the channels. And on our Facebook page, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Jeff says 1976 is the only reason to hate Cougar Hop. It's not the only reason, but it is the reason. For young Texas Tech fans, we can explain if we need to. But if you don't know, yes, 1976. That's why. That's why you hate Houston. Three reasons Texas Tech fans should hate Houston. Give me that tonight. Tuesday's best, the ultimate 30 for 30s. What do you want to know? Chris jumps in on Facebook. Hi there, Chris. Glad you guys are out there sharing this. I know you are. We'll go as long as the conversation is good tonight. I've got fried little popcorn shrimp, French fries, and some catfish waiting for me there in the kitchen. And I ain't gonna let it get cold. I'm telling you that right now. 230 for 30s. I want to see Mike Leach in those early 90s UNLV teams. I think there is a 30 for 30 on UNLV. The Mike Leach 30 for 30. I can't believe it hasn't come out yet, specifically after his death. I could tell you everything you want to know. You wouldn't believe it. You'd think I was lying. And I've given up trying to tell people the truth. I've given up trying to tell the real story because most Tech fans don't want to hear it. No, that's not true. Some Tech fans don't want to hear it. Most Tech fans wouldn't believe it. And all Tech fans are just kind of over it. That's the reality. In my 35 plus years of covering Texas Tech, I've said many times over the last years, I could tell everybody the truth about certain things and nobody would believe it. That's the way it goes. JC is on YouTube. That is a social media platform. I'd like to know more about the Big 12's 1.5 hour investigation on TCU and Baylor hacking our helmet comms last year. Yeah, hold on. You did what? Here's how this investigation went. You did what? Yeah, we did this. Oh, and here's what everybody else is doing, and you haven't caught them. And everybody else was like, holy shit, we're doing the same thing too. How about we just end this little deal about the comm system compromising and we all just call it a day? Everybody good with that? Yeah, I think we're all good with that. If everybody cheating, ain't nobody cheating. Phi Slamma Jamma. I thought there were already multiple documentaries on Phi Slamma Jamma. What do you not know about Phi Slamma Jamma that you want to know? Seriously. Right? What do we not know about that era of University of Houston basketball? Unless the answer is hating Houston. And three reasons Tech fans should hate Houston, and they hate Houston because of Phi Slamma Jamma, which I would say, no, I love Houston because of Phi Slamma Jamma. The greatest college basketball team ever to do squat, to win nothing, get beat by North Carolina State and Georgetown and Patrick Ewing in 83 and 84. Guy B. Lewis on the sidelines chewing on the towel. That, Glenn, if you're saying we should hate them because actually I think that is one of the great failings, the greatest failing in all of college basketball in the last 50 years would be Phi Slamma Jamma. So we should actually take great pity upon them and say, man, y'all had the greatest assemblage of talent maybe at any one given time and didn't win. North Carolina, 83, at least they win, and they beat Georgetown in 83. Sleepy Floyd throws the ball away. I mean, at least they win with that talent. Yeah, if you're looking for pity, I would pity Houston. Pity the fool. Pity the fool who could have Phi Slamma Jamma, can't win a national champion, can't beat Jim Valvano. Good heavens. All right, three reasons Texas Tech fans should hate Houston this week. Well, we got to create something because they could barely beat Oregon State, and it was on the road. And I know that's difficult for Houston because, they don't have a lot of vehicles, and it's hard for them to get there. No telling how many days they had to drive up there with the budget that they have at the University of Houston. So I try to give them a little bit of grace that at least they got there. I mean, that for the University of Houston to be able to send student athletes that far is really a minor miracle and a testament to them now being in the Big 12 that they could at least get the hoopty bills going that far. So good job to at least get there. They've been very quiet for the most part this week. Tuesday's best 30 for 30s you'd love to see. The stories, the individuals, what you really want to know. One of mine would have been the ultimate Pete Rose, literally everything. Now, in the final years of his life, Rose came as clean as he could. But I mean, let's go back 10 years, and I really wanted Rose to just, hey, everything. And talk about the other people that were betting on baseball while you were doing it. He wasn't the only one. And do the whole thing. You got to give Pete Rose credit. He could have taken down an entire sport in 1990. He didn't do it. Now, he was threatened with his life that if he spoke too much, that he would be killed. But man, would have been fascinating. Timbo and Austin on YouTube. 30 for 30 on Tech 25 football season is going to be epic. I hope you're right for all the right reasons. Jeff, pitchers duel in Yankee Stadium 1-0 Evil Empire in the 6th. Depending on which you think is the Evil Empire, the Yankees or the Red Sox. Hell, I'm old enough to remember getting home from school and seeing Bucky Dent launch one over the Green Monster in the playoffs in, what was that, 77 or 78? Somebody look it up. I want to say 78. That's how freaking old I am when it comes to playoffs. At least I like the idea. I love that we're doing best of 3 in the early rounds instead of one and done. All right. JC, loved Houston growing up. Ran the Veer and badass late 70s, early 80s drip. Yeah, Houston. So you had the Houston Veer under Gary Yeoman, which was the wishbone without the fullback. So in the Houston Veer, you had the 2 split backs behind the quarterback. You had the wing back or the fullback out there as a wing back. You had a lot of crack back action, everything else, which led to a lot of good counter action. I still think I think personally the Houston Veer was a better offense when run well than the pure wishbone. The wishbone was adapted to pretty quickly in the early 70s. Split 6, wide tackle 6, and even the 5-2 generation later on in the decade. But the wishbone, after about 4 years, defenses had adapted. The Houston Veer, though, had motion back with a wing back, allowed you to attack downfield and throw the ball. And Houston was incredibly good at that. And they attacked those secondaries, which a lot of times were in man at the time because you had to roll up. You had 6 men up front. So you pretty much had a diamond safety, and then you were out there on an island. And the corners had to run in and come in force. So the Houston Veer, to me, was a better offense than the wishbone. Stephen, 2 stories. Jordan's gambling retirement. Well, yeah, I think we all know this, right? He was suspended by the NBA, so he had to go play baseball. Hawaiian Islands Survivor hosted by Mark Adams. Good stuff there on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Yeah, we all know this, right? Talking about Jordan. It was a suspension. All of sports knew, though, that they couldn't suspend him and they couldn't have a gambling issue. So they had to do what they did. We all know this, right? Even if we don't believe it, even if it's never out there publicly, it will be at some point, I think. At least that's what I'm told. Randy Wade. Like to see a 30 for 30 on 32 degrees. First big show when they were headliners at Fort Worth Cats game at the old LaGrave Field, playing in independent ball. The old 32 degrees, spin off from 98 degrees. Very good. Quality band. I think they They opened for Lindana in the late 80s. Lindana, I Just Want to Have Fun, her major hit, for those who remember Lindana. All right, 3 reasons Texas Tech fans should hate Houston. 1, 1976. Do we all understand what happened in 1976, right? We all understand the game in 1976. We all understand Houston coming into the conference, stealing a Cotton Bowl berth away from the Red Raiders. We understand what happened at Jones Stadium that day and the interception in the end zone. We all understand what transpired. We get that, right? We don't have to explain that to the younger crowd. That for no other reason than 1976, the interlopers come in and take away the rightful berth in the Southwest Conference, representing the conference. Yeah, get the idea. There are so many other reasons. Houston traffic, just traffic alone. The bastardization of the great name of Sam Houston, that if he were alive today, he would tell them, take my name off your city. Give me reasons to hate Houston this week. Tuesday's best, the all-time sports stories that you would want to see encapsulated in the 30 for 30 format. And then Rangers fans, welcome to the postseason without you again. Bruce Bochy, build this statue. 100%. He needs to be venerated, a saint going forward. All right? He brings you the long-awaited World Series championship. He was the right man at the right time for the organization when he was hired. It was obviously time to make a change. He wins, he gets you the World Series. I'll ask the question, though, for longtime Ranger fans. More important to the franchise, and maybe this is a dumb question, that's fine. Nolan Ryan or Bruce Bochy? There's a gnat there. Nolan Ryan or Bruce Bochy? And we're going to build the Bruce Bochy statue, but Bochy shows up after the new stadium's built after the new. Okay, fine. I don't want to taint your argument. The most important Ranger all time. Tell me. All right. Law don't go around here, Savvy. 30 for 30 will do the U part 3 before they do anything on the Big 12. Yeah. Lena Hidalgo, a reason to hate UH. If you know your politics, you know your politics. Jeff, does Bochy go back to San Francisco with Buster Posey? Bochy more important because of the World Series win, he says. All right, okay, I'll give you that. Okay. And then right after Bochy's done. He's not going to manage anymore. He's not going to do anything. Might consult, do a little bit of whatever. I hope he doesn't manage anymore. I really don't. I want the man to be able to enjoy the rest of his life. He's beat up. He hurts. Walk in. It's brutal. Right after that, Chris, I'm not sure there's a Rangers without Nolan Ryan. So without Nolan Ryan, the ballpark in Arlington doesn't get built. There is no ballpark in Arlington. The Rangers list along there at Arlington Stadium into the mid-late 90s. And then maybe somebody makes a run at moving the Rangers out of North Texas. Maybe somebody makes a run, and instead of an expansion team going into Colorado, the Rangers move to Colorado. That what Chris is saying, for those who don't remember how moribund the franchise was, Mayor Vandegrift in Arlington, Nolan Ryan. Without those two, it doesn't happen. But Mayor Vandegrift can't get the taxation passed without Nolan Ryan. I would agree with Jeff right here. Jim Sundberg, clearly the greatest all-time Ranger. 100%. I've got an autographed glove right down there in my office, on the floor, in fact, in my office right now. That's how often I play catch. Uh, Charlie, most important Ranger, Stu Buchel. Greatest hair with the perm and everything could very well be Steve Buchel. He had a run of incredible third basemen there with the Rangers, with Buddy Bell, Steve Buchel. He really had some great third basemen, or I did growing up. He is the fake Natalie Maines, or is he? Dear Hyatt, how are you? Eh, I am fine. It can take 3 hours to get from the Woodlands to Galveston on a Friday, just so you know. Love you. Yeah, another reason to hate Houston right there. Houston traffic, 100%. Off YouTube on JC, Tech's offense has a little veer influence. 3 reasons to hate Houston. Here's one. As late great father-in-law Ag and Houston native said, I don't trust any air I can't see. Again, can you imagine Sam Houston coming back today? You drop him in downtown Houston and say, yeah, this is the city we named you for. He'd be like, get me the hell out of here. Get me out, you know? But if you brought him out to West Texas, he'd be like, I always wondered what it was going to be like out in this part of the country. Really wanted to know. Never made it out here, but, you know, really wanted to know. Jeff. Zippy's dad said if the world needed an enema, they would give it through Houston. Zippy's dad was a wise, wise man. All right. 3 reasons Tech fans should hate Houston, real or otherwise. I don't hate Houston. I mean, if we could sell it to Louisiana, yeah, okay, I might not have a problem with. Tuesday's best, the 2 sports stories, sports figures, whatever, the ultimate 30 for 30s that you want to know. What do you really want to know? Which stories do you really want to know? And then for Ranger fans, more important to the organization now. I think the Mount Rushmore for Ranger fans, Nolan Ryan, Bruce Bochy, and then we can argue over Pudge and Juan Gonzalez and Michael Young. And isn't it really weird that you have a World Series championship team, but you don't immediately go there for greatest Ranger players all time? That you caught fire, the team caught fire. They had an amazing run, August into September, and then through the playoffs. But you just don't immediately go, you know, Pete Incaviglia, Oklahoma State. It really is this odd one-off thing that it was like the baseball gods, and everybody said, okay, Ranger fans, you have suffered so long. Here's your World Series championship. You get the banner. However, it isn't even in the greatest era. I would say the 2 best eras. 2 best eras? Yeah. I would rank this as the 3rd, and maybe I could make a case for the 4th best era of Ranger baseball all time. Michael, Houston Rockets won in 94. Yes, they did. Houston Rockets won in 94. When did you do that twice? 94, 95. Kevin Durant now plays for them. Jordan should have won all of those years. Yeah, so he's out. The Rockets get their victories while Jordan's out on suspension. The Rockets could have strung together 3, and the 2 in between. Of course, we had the 2 different iterations of the Chicago Bulls, Jordan being the common thread, Pippen being the common thread to an extent. You know, you got Horace Grant, you got Luke Longley, you got, you know, guys know your history. You know what I'm talking about. But Jordan would have been the thread there in between. Greatest Ranger, Pete Incaviglia. Yeah, I saw it. So Ship Channel and Buffalo Bayou are states, colon. Yeah, seriously, when you start to look at it that way, I mean, it flushes stuff up, it sucks stuff in, and on the way. I'm not a medical doctor, JC. It would be hard for me to expound on that beyond what you've already done. Will Purdue, the legendary Will Purdue. Will Purdue, Vanderbilt? Is Will Purdue Vanderbilt? Or am I thinking of somebody else? David Collier, KMAC 28 sports director. I think he was Vanderbilt. Maybe not. Somebody on that team was. Hold on. Do I have a confirmation? There we go. Yep. I know more about late 80s, early 90s NBA than I do about NBA in the last 20 years. So that's the way we roll. Build the Bochy statue now. More important in the history of the franchise. Nolan Ryan or Bruce Bochy. Tuesday's best, the ultimate 30 for 30 stories you would like to hear. Every Tuesday, we give you a topic, give us the two best examples, the two greatest stories, the two greatest anything in sports that you just unabridged want to know everything about it, how it transpired, what happened to the nth degree. I'm not a math major, but the nth degree seems to be way out there. 3 reasons Texas Tech fans should hate Houston. 1976 is enough for me. All right. But what do you got? You tell us a couple more minutes. And now we've elevated it because KMAC 28 sports director David Collier with us tonight. You going to be back on set tonight during the 10 o'clock? A reason for people to watch, tune in. They can see some of the glorious color interviews that you've had with Joey McGuire and other people out at Texas Tech, and not just Texas Tech, but other things around Raiderland. Yeah, humidity times 3, traffic, humidity, all of that. Glenn says 3 reasons: Astros, traffic, mosquito. That'd be cheating Astros to you. Traffic and mosquitoes. I can't remember which Major League Baseball player it was. They had a great quote playing in the National League in Houston before the Dome down there at the old Colt 45s field. I can't remember what it was called. Said they didn't have a 7th inning stretch. They had 7th inning transfusion for all the blood people lost due to being bit by mosquitoes. The Astros. October baseball is so good. Yes, here we have a sport that plays 162 games, and then all of a sudden we just go, hey, let's decide all this in 3 games or 5 games or 7 games. There's no bigger disconnect in the postseason and how it plays out than the regular season than Major League Baseball. I love Major League Baseball. I love baseball. Give me National League, American League, no divisions, and the top winner plays the winner from the other league in the World Series, and we're done. There you go. 1968, I believe, is what we called it. Bochy's management, buttons pushed, etc., during championship run would make a great documentary. Not team focus, his moves. Okay, and cobbling together, literally cobbling together that team for 2 months of they weren't really that healthy. A lot of guys weren't playing that well, but they just kept winning freaking games. That's why he's a Hall of Fame manager. That's why you build the statue, right? Maybe the best Ranger. best Ranger team era. Do you go the ones that lose with Washington in 11 and in that stretch, the San Francisco and the St. Louis loss? Or do we go all the way back to the late 90s where really, really good Ranger teams could not get past the freaking Yankees that were winning 118 games a year at the time? Yeah, I'd probably go back to the Washington era and say that stretch, top to bottom, better. Late 90s, second, in the actual World Series winning team, and it was such a finite little bubble. That's third of the greatest eras. Then I can go back into 1994 in the strike year, and that team would have won the division and would have had a great chance in 94. Much everybody talks about the Expos that year getting screwed. The Rangers got equally screwed in the strike year of 1994. You can look it up, David Collier. 7-year-old David Collier in 1994. And then 77, 78 Rangers, good for a little bit. There you go. All right, you guys have been fun tonight. We're going to have this posted on the website, theraiderland.com. We're going to be with you in the morning. What If Wednesday, brought to you by Shropshire Insurance of Texas. When you have Shropshire on your side, you never have to wonder what if when it comes to insurance. And then we want you guys to do the power of five. Go to our sponsors tonight. 5 of you people out there tonight, go to our sponsors. United Supermarkets, Target Street, Gators Bayou, 98th and Slide Road, Lubbock, Texas, South Plains College, and of course, Hat Creek Interiors and the Hat Creek Interior Studio. Go to their social media pages. Facebook is fine. And tell them thanks for being a part of Raiderland, supporting it, and doing everything you can. If 5 people do that every night, it's huge. Don't just stop with my product. Whatever media you enjoy, whatever shows you enjoy, do the same thing for them. That's how we stay in business. That's how all this works. Without y'all buying their product and then letting them know you're hearing the message. You don't have to go buy a huge, awesome Western sofa every day at Hat Creek Interior. We get it. You probably only do that 2 or 3 times a month. But when you go there and let them know, hey, we got you. That's massive. So not just my media, but anything you enjoy, please do that. All right. A couple more comments before we get out of here. Jan is on Twitter at 76 is the reason, period. Second season of Tech football crushed. What if the 94 strike doesn't happen? Might be a good what if Wednesday. Expos Rangers World Series. There you go. And the Williams and Hyatt show in year 1 has something to talk about baseball-wise beyond August 14th or whatever date they went on strike. For a new call-in show in Lubbock, Texas in 1994, yeah, that was great. At least it happened right before college football, but yeah, that was awesome. Thanks. David Collier, KMAC 28 Sports Director. Matt Williams would have broken the home run record too. Golly, what was he on? Pace. He was on pace, wasn't he, there for the Giants? Who did he end up marrying, by the way? He ended up marrying somebody from Lubbock. 76, the best reason. Oh, yeah, we got that. There you go. All right, you guys are the best. You guys are awesome. Share this, invite people in. We're going to have this posted on the website, theraiderland.com. It's easy to remember, right? theraiderland.com. Easy to do. 30 on Williams and Hyatt. You guys would be so bored. You wouldn't believe it. You really wouldn't believe how boring it was. All right, see you guys tomorrow. And follow us on Twitter tonight at Ryan Hyatt Media. We'll be with you all night long. And see you in the morning at theraiderland.com.